teams, your power ranking.
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Enough times I've gone against the Chiefs thinking that it was going to be the downfall at some point. They got Patrick Mahomes. They're number one. Now, my number two is tricky. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Wow.
Oh wow. I feel like we're forgetting, we're forgetting that Lamar Jackson is a former MVP. Lamar Jackson now has Odell Beckham Jr. Now has Rashad Bateman.
I'm scared to keep playing it because you know how they do it. They always compliment the Ravens or Lamar, and then it's always with a little bit of negative. You know, it's always that like. It's always something like that. It's something crazy like that. I'm scared to keep watching that video. Let's talk about it. What is going on, Ravens flock? My name is Drastic, and I want to welcome you out to another video on my YouTube channel, Flock Ravens, where on this channel, you guys know we talk about anything and everything that has to do with your Baltimore Ravens. And on today's video, we're going to talk about Ryan Clark on ESPN, where he talked about his top 5 AFC teams. And I got to be honest with you guys, there's 2 reasons why this really shocks me. One, because they made the top 5. That's something that we don't really see too much of on media, right? These analysts on Get Up or Speak or the Undisputed shows. None of that. We rarely ever see this, right? And what's even more shocking is that they were put at number 2. Now, if they ever do make it, normally they're like a number 5, or if it's a top 10, they're going to be between 8 and 10, right? So I'm shocked that they're at number 2. And when I watched the his point of view and all of that, it wasn't one of those like, I think they're at number 2. Like, he was very sure, like, no, they deserve to be at number 2. And you got to agree with them because the Ravens this year, like I said in the other videos, they are different. They're not the same Ravens that we've seen in 2020, 2021, and all that, right? So they are definitely at number 2 because you guys seen what the Ravens did without all of these personnels and players that we didn't have before. So you could only imagine what's going to happen this coming season, right? And obviously hoping for the best where no one gets hurt. And if, injuries is part of the game, if injuries do come up, we obviously hope it's not going to be something of, season ending or going to be out 8-9 games. Let's see what happens this year, but I'm very confident that, and I agree with him, like I told you, I agree with him that they are number 2, right? The Jets, to be honest with you guys, I don't agree with that because let's be honest. What did Aaron Rodgers do in the NFC? If any of these quarterbacks that we have goes to the NFC, they're most likely going to make it to the Super Bowl. Like if Lamar Jackson goes to the NFC on any team, Lamar Jackson goes to the Super Bowl. If Patrick Mahomes goes to the NFC, Patrick Mahomes takes that team to the Super Bowl. If let's see who else, Josh Allen, because there is no one in the NFC. All the quarterbacks in the NFC minus your Jalen Hurts, they don't have anything. The path to success for a Aaron Rodgers was like open to him, right? And he didn't take advantage of that. So you guys really think that him, and keep in mind, this guy had Devontae Adams on his team and company, right? So with all of that, he couldn't do anything. And you're trying to sell me that this guy coming to the Jets all of a sudden is a big contender? I can't buy that. I can't. Because in the AFC, it's 20 times harder to win a game against any of these quarterbacks, right? It's not the NFC. If you guys think he's gonna have the success he had in NFC, you guys are crazy, because that's not happening. There's way too much competition. This conference is like very crowded with nothing but talent. I don't think the Jets deserve to be on this top 5. I feel like it's like last year when Russell Wilson came to the AFC. Look what happened to him. He went from being on the top 5 to like not even making top 15. So how are you guys gonna tell me that Aaron Rodgers, not only like this is, I don't want to say washed up, but he's older. Aaron Rodgers still has a lot in his tank. He has a lot that he could still work with, right? But Aaron Rodgers is already older, so you're not going to get like when he was on his prime, right? So that's going to be very hard to even, I'll be honest with you guys, it's going to be hard for him to even make the playoffs. I could see him possibly having a winning season, but making the playoffs, that's going to be very hard for him to do. And for that reason, I would have rather seen maybe the Dolphins in the top 5. Let's see who else he has. The Chiefs, they're always in the game, right? The Ravens, I feel like they finally are getting on the right path, so they deserve to be on this top 5. Not because I'm a Ravens fan, but that's just the reality of it, right? Then he put the Bengals at number 3. I have an issue with this because I feel like the Bengals have too much weapons to have almost lost to the Ravens with the backup quarterback last year, not only once but twice. How could you put a team like that in your top 5? It just shows that their success to a certain extent is luck. That's what it is. It's luck. Because with all these weapons and with our quarterback being out and certain weapons also out, like our Rashad Bateman, we didn't have all these weapons. You gotta cash in on that. And they did, but barely. Like it had to be like blown. Remember like 2-3 years ago, they're like, "Oh, we blown you." That's because like our whole team was literally in the tent. Our whole team was injured left and right. So we told them repeat it, and they couldn't. They barely beat us. Barely. It's still a W. You can't take that away from them. I don't want to be that fan where it's like, oh, you guys barely did it, so therefore it's not a W. No. They got their win. But when you guys played Lamar Jackson, you couldn't get it done. So I don't think that they're a top 3. I would put another team there. I mean, I would put the Browns on this top 5 in the place of the Bengals coming in at top 3. I would put the Browns because you guys cannot forget who Deshaun Watson is. Last year, that was him getting back pretty much to the NFL. Let's start there. He hasn't really, because he started week like 11 or 12, he hasn't had that legit chance to really build with his team, right? So now he has a full off season where he was able to build with his team, or he's going to be able to build with his team. And he had a couple of games last year where he also got to, get in rhythm, right? So this year, I just can't see Deshaun Watson coming back and not being at least close to the guy that he used to be, right? And if you could get at least 80% of what Deshaun Watson used to be, he's making top 5. Definitely beating the Bengals. And, the Bengals, I don't know what it is about the Bengals and the Browns, but they could never beat the Browns. The Browns always come out with the W. So you're pretty much going to take two L's from the Browns, and we're going to give you another 2 L's. That's already 4 games that you're going to lose in your season. So I don't see the Bengals being on this top 5. Then he put, we talked about the Jets already. I would put the Dolphins instead of the Jets, honestly. Top 5, he put the Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills, I feel that they just have way too many weapons to have too many excuses, because that's what they're full of. They're full of excuses. You guys have way too many weapons for too many years to have this many excuses. So sure, put them at top 5, but don't ever cross the line where you guys are putting them anything, better than top 5. Don't put them at top 4, 3, 2, or even 1, because we're seeing this play out over and over and over and over and over. Same thing like we saw in the NFC with Aaron Rodgers. Plays a great game, great season, comes playoff time, plays okay, and then never makes it, right? That was always the issue that they had. They're like, oh my God, he plays very good, but he's never really able to get the job done, right? It's the same thing with the Bills. They play very good and they're getting far, but they just can't close the deal. So we'll leave them at top 5, sure. Why not? But like I said, I feel like they have too many weapons to have too many excuses. So let me know what you guys think about this top 5 list from Ryan Clark. And shout outs to you for finally being realistic, man. Because I'm tired of seeing like these other teams that they put the Chargers on these lists over and over. I don't understand how, like, what this guy has done to be in the top 5. But they'll put teams like that, like the Chargers, in the top 5. Like, what are you guys talking about? So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe to this channel, and share the channel as well. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.